everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope that you guys are having a great day, and today I'm going to be making something fun using the Trace Jolie December card kit, and this is it right in front of me. And if you haven't seen the release yet, I will go ahead and list that link right up here for you so you can take a look at the mixed media kit, scrapbook kit, and the card kit. So with the card kit, real quick run over, I'm going to go ahead and share with you. You get this super cute little flag border here that is really thick chipboard, super cute, that you can cover, paint, or do whatever you want to do with it. And then you get a beautiful handmade flowers by Little Birdie. Those are so pretty. And then you get this packet full of ephemera that is the Christmas ephemera from Tim Holtz. You get a ton of ephemera in here, you guys. Oh my gosh. And then you get a few doilies in here along with some pretty little gold bells. And then you go ahead and you get some of this little trim here. It's a ribbon. So pretty. Then you get a packet of paper. So, and I think you get 2 of each paper. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember. I can't remember if you do or not. I think so. And there might be a couple that are the same. I don't know. So it doesn't look like they're the same. So that's what I'm trying to see. I think they're different. Yeah. I don't think they're the same. So, yeah. So they're all different. So really pretty paper, you guys. So and then you get a couple of pieces of 12 by 12 cardstock, and you get a couple of pieces of white cardstock that is 8.5 by 11. So let's go ahead and get started with today's project. So I wanted to share with you guys real quick, this is just my template, but what you're going to do is we're going to be making a box, and you're going to cut your paper at 8.5 by 8.5. And I'm just going to leave this up here for a second. And you're going to score one side of the 8.5 paper at 1/2 inch, at 2 3/4, at 4.5, 6 3/4, and then you're going to turn it and you're going to score at 1/2 inch, at 2 1/4, at 6 1/4, and then at 8. So that is what we're going to do. Score this on, and again, I'm just going to use my template. You're going to go ahead and score at 1/2 inch, at 2 3/4 inch, 4 1/4, or I'm sorry, 4.5. So 4.5, and then 6 3/4. Then you're going to turn it, and you're going to score at 1/2 inch again. You're going to score at 2 1/4, at 6 1/4, and at 8. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cut this on the bigger end here. So this is where your 1/2 inch bottom is. Okay, so you're gonna have a 1/2 inch on the left side, the right side, and at the bottom. Okay, and you're going to go ahead and we're gonna cut each score line on the left and right. Okay, so here, okay, and here. Okay, on this side here, we're just going to go ahead and cut this whole square out. So basically, we're going to go ahead and cut this whole square out here. So all of this is going to get cut out, and then all of this is going to get cut out. Okay, so now you're going to be left with this. This is going to be your front flap. Okay, you're going to cut out. Then you're going to go ahead and just cut in between each of the score lines up to the first score line on each side. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to go ahead and cut here. Okay. And here. And same thing on the other side. You're going to cut here. Okay. And then here you can go ahead and notch those in just a bit. Okay. Just kind of angle those a little bit. Here you're going to go ahead and you're going to cut in between this one. So here you're going to cut here all the way to the first score line. Same thing with this one. Just like that. And you're going to cut this one off. Okay. So you can cut that 1/2 inch off there and the 1/2 inch off here. Okay. And then what you're going to do is you can go ahead and you can angle those in if you want. It just kind of gives it a nice finished look when you put it together. So there we go. Again, you're going to angle those in. Just like that. And then here you can go ahead and you can angle this in. That and like that. I'm just going to cut that little piece off here. That is a score line. Let's see if we can get it. There we go. Okay, so that's what your side should look like, okay? And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this here so you can go ahead and see. So your middles should have the 1/2 inch flaps, and then the top and the bottom should not have the 1/2 inch flap. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on this side here. Now, if you want to, you can go ahead and you can paper your little box here if you want to. Go ahead and fold everything in and paper the outside. If you don't want to use the ephemera frame on top, which is where we're going to cut our little circle to frame that in, so you have a little window on top of that. Okay, so once you're done, then we're going to go ahead and cut this part out. Now, if you want to, you can use a die and cut out a square and put acetate on your window if you want to. Or I was actually thinking about using this little frame that is from the ephemera kit. And I just thought it was so pretty. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to use this frame combined with the paper that we have. So let me see if I can find that frame. Oh, here it is. Or you can even use one of these. You can use this. You don't have to have a window on your little box if you don't want to. You can just use one of these as the top of your box. I just thought if you wanted to have a window, this would be a super cute one to have. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place this on here, okay, just like this. And I'm going to try to get it in the middle. So what I want to do is I want to fold this back. Let me go ahead and burnish this down. Okay, and then I'm going to bring this over like that. Okay, I'm going to put this on top. Now it will hang over just a bit because it's not going to be the same size. So you will have to trim off a little bit of this card. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and place this on here. And I'm just trying to make sure that it's on there like in the center, you know, just by filling the edges here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab my pencil and just trace the inside of here. Okay, so just like that. Next, we're going to go ahead and cut this out, and then you're going to place an acetate on the inside of here so you have a nice little window. So I'm going to grab my little cutting board that I usually use all the time. So here's my cutting board, and then I'm going to grab my X-Acto knife. And so to do this, I just go ahead and I make an X. It's the easiest way to go ahead and cut out a circle if you don't have a die. This is just the easiest way if you want to trace something. I do this all the time. So those of you that have been part of my channel know that I do this all the time. And this is just for those of you that don't have dies, or, I have dies, but sometimes it's, for me, it's a lot easier just to do it this way. And I don't know, where my dies are right now. Well, they're packed, so a few of them I have out and some of them I don't. So here I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to go around this, okay? And I'm actually going to try to cut right on top of that line that I drew, okay? Or maybe around on the other side of that line. So that way it is even with the little circle ephemera frame that we're going to be placing on top of here. So you're just going to go ahead and cut right around here. And down below, if you can tell me what type of chocolate is your favorite, I would appreciate it. I like to know, like, what kind of chocolate people like. Like, do you like M&Ms? What's your favorite snack? Dark chocolate. A lot of people like dark chocolate. I'm a big dark chocolate lover. And I love, but my favorite overall is Lindor chocolate. You guys, I love Lindt chocolate. Oh my God, just so good, right? That chocolate is just so good. So, yeah, I like doing that. And do you make gifts for people? What kind of gifts do you give? Do you make little treat bags or boxes, cookies and stuff like that? Let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so here I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fold these. I'm going to burnish these in now. Now that we've got our little window cut and everything, and then I'm going to go grab some of my acetate, and if I can find it, because I don't remember where I stuck it, so hopefully I can find something to cover this. So I should have thought about that before, but I got in a mood and was on a vibe, so so here we go. So yeah, so your little box is going to shut like this. So these are going to go inside. These little flappies are going to be glued to the inside here, just like this. This is going to go to the inside, and this is going to be like that. So I'll be right back. Okay, so once you get your acetate cut out, you're going to go ahead and we're going to place this on top of the inside of your flap, okay? So we're going to place some tape around your acetate, okay? And I'm just using, I think this is about 1/4 inch and I'm just using 1/4 inch double back tape on here. And then we're going to go ahead and just glue this down. So you're just going to go ahead and glue this down right on the inside of that. just like so. I'm just going to go ahead and burnish that down real good. Now for this next part, I'm just sharing how to put the box together. If you put boxes together, you probably kind of know how, but you're going to put the glue on the one of the outside arms, fold that in, and you're going to go ahead, lift the flap, the side flap up, and glue all those inside. So the flaps go on the inner side of that box, and then you're done. And then you can go ahead and you can cut out your papers, measure papers to however you want to cover the sides and the front of the box. Okay, so if you want to cover the inside of the lid to cover up your acetate, you're just going to go ahead and cut out a piece of paper that is the size of the lid. So you'll go ahead and measure from this score line to here, and then the width. And then you'll go ahead and you will draw your circle, and then you're going to go ahead and just cut this out the same way that you did with the box part. So I'm just going to grab my X-Acto knife and cut this out. Okay, so I'm just kind of fast forwarding this a little bit, and you all know how I cut this out because we did it the same way that we did on the front of the box. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish cutting this out, and then we're going to add glue once you get it all cut out the way you want it, and you're going to go ahead and put it over on top of the little acetate that we placed on there. And then once we're done with that, we can go ahead and we can glue on the top of our little frame here. Once you get the frame on, you can go ahead and cut off the excess paper that's hanging over the edges. And then it's time to add in your candy. Okay, so once we put our box together and you put your candy inside, you can go ahead and decorate it however you would like. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to grab some of the items that we have. Now, if you have the scrapbook kit, you can definitely use some of these pretty little chipboard pieces to do that, to decorate this. And you can also use your little banner here. So you can use that, which we are going to use on another box in just a minute. Okay, so let's go ahead and decorate this. And with this ephemera, you get lots of fun little ephemera pieces. And I just think that that is so pretty. So let's see here, we'll use and I picked out some of the ephemera from the packet, and I'm just going to go ahead and glue. Now, if you want to, you could definitely use foam tape on this, and I don't know, I'm trying to keep things a little simpler this year. I love using foam tape, and those of you that have been on my channel forever, y'all know I love foam tape. So, but now this one, I did cut some of the holly off, and we're going to use that extra piece around here in just a second. Here, I'm going to place this here, and I'm going to place this 25 right under here. I'm actually going to kind of cut right in through here because I want this to slide in underneath there. See if it'll slide under there. Yep, just like that. So, and that 25 will be right there. So I'm just going to glue that down. And then here I have this Merry Christmas. I love this. And we're going to go ahead and stick that right here. And then this little holly will go right in through here. So it's going to be having glue right in through here, just like that. And there we go. So there is the top of our package. Now you can definitely use some stickles if you want to brighten it up a bit, you know, make it more little glittery and festively. Is that a word, festively? It doesn't work now. So, but now we're going to go ahead and get on to our other little box that we're going to be making, a little treat box. Okay. Okay, so for our next little booklet that we're going to be making, so for our next little treat holder we're going to be making something that will hold these cute little dark chocolate sea salt by Ghirardelli, and these are super cute. They taste really good, you guys. So we're actually going to put 4 on each little side here, and what we're going to do is we're going to make these little boxes that these fit into, and they fit in there just perfectly, just like that. Okay, and then we're going to put them inside of here. So we're going to put 1 here, 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 and here, and then 2 on and then 4 on this side as well. This will go ahead and it will close. Okay, and we have the string that, or the beautiful ribbon that you got in your card kit, right, that we can use as our closure. So I'm really excited to use that. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So to make your booklet, okay, you're going to go ahead and cut your white cardstock that is in the card kit at 9 3/4 by 6 3/4. Okay, and then you're going to score at 4 1/4 and at 5 1/2. Okay, that's what's going to make your little booklet just like this. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and you're going to need 8 of these. These are 2 1/4 by 3 1/2. You're going to score at 1 3/4 by 2 1/4. You're going to turn it this long way, right? And then you're going to score a 1/2 inch on the left and the right side. So I'm going to go ahead and do one with you so you you understand what we do. So so after you cut out all of your little cards, okay, again, you're going to need 8 of these. If you want to do more, you can definitely do more, and you can, bunch them up closer if you want to do that. So you can also set them on the side. So if you wanted to set them this way, right, you could probably fit, let's see, you could probably fit 1, 2, 3, you could probably fit 4 across this way. And here you could probably fit more. If you put them up higher, you could probably really get 6 on one side and then 6 on the other side if you wanted to do that. Okay, so you're going to get your cards and your small cards, and you're going to go ahead and score a 1/2 inch on each side. So here on each side, with it being at the top of your scoreboard, long ways down. Okay, then you're going to turn this and you're going to score at 1 3/4 and then at 2 1/4. Okay, and you're going to do that for all of your little cards. So again, a 1/2 inch on each side. So here, and then I just turn mine around and do it this way. And then you're going to go ahead and just score at 1 3/4 and 2 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and continue scoring all of these little cards, right? Because these are going to hold the candy. And then, yeah. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut these. Okay. So 1 3/4 by 2 1/4. Okay, so I'm done. So now we're going to go ahead and put these together. So you're going to cut in between the score lines just like I did. And you can bevel in your edges if you want to. You don't have to. You can definitely just cut it straight. I just beveled it in because I just like it that way. But you can do it however you want. So you're going to just do it just like that. Then you're going to decide which side you want. This side has more of a textured side, and this side has more like a smooth side. And so I went ahead and went for the textured side, and you're just going to fold these in just like this, okay? And you may have to go ahead and burnish these in because they are kind of, the cardstock is pretty thick. So, okay. So there's that. And then we're going to go ahead and glue these. And so basically you're going to go ahead and grab this side here and grab this side. And you're going to go ahead and pull these into the little tabs into one of your sides, into one of the little tabs here. Okay. And again, you're just making kind of like a little box. Then this part is going to go on the inside, just like this. Okay, so it's going to be in there just like that. Okay, just like that. And these are going to go in the inside. And then just burnish this down. And you're going to do that for each of your little boxes. And then your little candy is going to fit right inside of there just like that. So once you get this done, you can decorate your little boxes. You can put some, cut your papers and put some, or you don't have to. Just use your little ephemera pieces that we've got, right? And we've got some really super cute ephemera pieces here. And you can layer them on there. So if you wanted to, you could layer like this. And like that. So cute. So we've got lots of different little things in here. So you could definitely... Okay, so the trim that you have in your, Okay, so the trim that you have in your card kit, you're going to go ahead and cut off 11 inches of that, okay? And then you're going to fold it in half, and you're going to cut it in the middle, okay? And let's see here. All right, so there's that. So then you're going to go ahead, and we're just going to glue this one end. So you're going to glue one end here, and the other end on the back, okay, where it can lace like this, where it comes out like this. Then you're going to go ahead and attach it to the front and the other one to the back, okay? And you're going to do it just like this, so that way you can tie it. So here I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place this here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and grab some double back tape, and I'm just going to go ahead and tear some off and place that on top. Now I placed mine right in the center, and then I just used my double back tape to tape down the front little trim, and then I matched it up with the back trim, and I went ahead again and placed another piece of double back tape on top of that back trim like that, and there we go. So now when we put our book together, we can just tie it. And you can tie it in a bow, you can tie it, in a knot, whatever you want to do. So now I cut out all of my little papers. So here I cut out from the cardstock that we got, I cut out a red and a green to put on the sides of here. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue these down. And then on the front, I decided to use the poinsettia paper. I just thought that was so pretty. So, yeah, so we're going to do that. And I'm just going to set this right here. Okay, so here I'm just going to go ahead and glue down all of my panels on top of my little booklet. And so I picked out this red and the green for the inside. So here I used that pretty poinsettia paper from the paper collection that we got in our card kit, and I am just gluing the panels onto the front. And then you're going to go ahead and cut a couple of strips out to cover up the spine of your little book. I put the poinsettia one on the inside, and then I went ahead and cut one of the red ones for the spine in the front of the book, on the outside of the book. Next, I cut out some little squares to cover the front of each of the boxes. Okay, so next what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to attach the boxes to the inside of our booklet. And so what I did is I just kind of measured, I just kind of eyeballed it. Maybe go in about an inch down from the top, and then over about 1/4 of an inch, and then place the first box down. And then I left about maybe 1/4 of an inch or less between each of the little boxes next to each other. And I just kind of eyeballed it from there. So I didn't really have a measurement. I just, like I said, kind of just did eyeball type of measurement. So if you want to fit more on there, you can raise the top boxes up just a bit more so you can fit another row at the bottom part. So you have maybe 6 boxes on there, or maybe you could fit 5. Once you have all your boxes on there, kind of pat them down so they are sure to stick down, okay? And then you can tie that up. And now we're going to go ahead and decorate the front. So for the front, I went ahead and cut the chipboard banner, and where you see 5 little flags on it. And so we do have another part of the banner left over for another project, and you're going to just paint this. Now I painted mine gold. If you have some gold paint, you can use that, or you can use glitter, you can use whatever you would like. I just thought the gold would stand out a little bit more, and then I went ahead and let that dry for a little bit and glued that on top. And the paint that I have, the gold paint, is actually from a previous kit, and I'll try to find that kit. If it is still available, I will link it down below for you. And then here I just used some ephemera pieces to go ahead and decorate the front, and I did place some foam tape on some of the ephemera pieces so that way they would stand up a little bit and I could go ahead and I could layer. I love using foam tape. It's just one of my favorite things to use, almost as much as I love using stickles. So placed that little tag up there. I love it. It has to and from on there, so I thought that was super cute. And then again, I'm just kind of sorting out ephemera pieces around my little cover here, and went ahead and stuck that little circle 25th of December inside of the little post office book or marker, and then went ahead and just started gluing everything down. Here I folded that up a little bit so that way it looked like it was, you know, a little flag, and then I went ahead and placed 2 little foam dots on top of each other so it would give it some height, so it would stand up a little bit better. And then I glued where the little indentations are down, so that way it kind of just looks like a little banner. And then gluing this part down here. I just love how the front of this turned out. It is so vintagey and vintagey. Here, there goes another word, you guys. Festively and vintagey. That's what we've got. Once I got everything where I wanted it, I went ahead and glued it down, and then I added this banner that says Merry Christmas on top of the gold banner. Now, the last thing we have is we have a couple of scraps here. Now, if you have some scraps that are like this, right, we're going to make some cards out of these because they don't have an inside to them, pattern paper. They're perfect for making cards. So super simple. All you do is get your little scrap, okay, fold it in half. Okay, burnish it down, and there you go. You have like your little card. And so, and then if you have one that's like this, you can still make a card out of it. Just fold it in half, right? And what you're going to do is you're going to make it, you know, a card that sits upright. Fold it in half. And now you've got two cards that you can decorate the front and then place your sentiment inside. So we're going to go ahead and decorate these real quick. And then we are done with all of our little festive items here. Okay, guys, so we finished our little treat boxes and a couple of little cards. And if you have any scraps that are like 3.5 or 4x8, then you could definitely just fold them in half and turn them into cards. So these are super cute, and I just think they're cute. And they're, you know, I didn't do a whole lot to them. I just put on some ephemera with a little flower. I put on the cute little golden bells that we have in the kit, and then on the inside, what I did is I went ahead and stamped "May your Christmas be cozy, warm, and bright." On this one here, I went ahead and placed a little flower with some ephemera pieces, and then on the inside, I did a different stamp, and it says, "May the beauty of the season bring you joy." And I just think that these turned out super cute little cards, right, to give to somebody. And then our little candy boxes are super cute, all festive and ready to go. And I think that these turned out super cute. I love the little window, and I think it was a good idea to use this ephemera frame that we had and then decorate around it. I think it looks so, so festive. I love it. And then for our other little candy treat book, I went ahead and created the front with some ephemera and the chipboard piece that comes in the card kit. And we just painted that gold. And that was a little... that gold is a paint from a past kit that we received. And then here I stuck greetings, and I put to and from on here. That's one of the ephemera pieces from the kit. And I just think that this turned out super cute. I love it. And then here you can open it up, and then you have all of your little candies inside. How cute, right? And I just think this is so festive. I love it. And so these are just a few little things that you can do for something quick and easy if you want to give a little gift to somebody. I just think that this is cute. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you get to try one of these little candy boxes and the little candy book. Thank you again. Take care, and I will be seeing you later. Bye. Thanks for joining me today, y'all. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial, and head on over to Trace Jolie to check out their shop. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and comment, and join me Friday nights at 4:30 Central Time.